Hi all, Aid from Rev Monkey here, and I've got the pleasure to be coming to you semi-live from Joe Macari's near Wandsworth in London. A most fabulous showroom. I think it's the best showroom in the country, even surpasses that of Romans International, due to the sheer value and rareness and exotic nature of the cars that they've got around me. There's some absolute monster cars here, some of them worth tens of millions of pounds, and there's even ones in the low hundreds, which are still fantastic cars that any one of us would be delighted to get into. So without further ado, let's take a better look at some of the really special cars in the Joe Macari showroom. Well, here's a very special car, and that's the last of the line almost. Lamborghini Miura P400 S. You can tell the S with these eyelids around here. It's in a fantastic, resplendent black and gold livery. Now this car was built in 1970. Now 1970, that's 54 years ago. 54 years ago. And they made a car that looks this good, is this timeless and this special. Values on these are now on the up and up. You can still get into one for 3 to 5 million, depending on specification. This one's done somewhere in the 50s of kilometres, which is nothing given the age of the car. That's like 1,000 kilometres a year. Absolutely nothing. What a special car. It was also born on my birthday, 28th of August. So I feel like I should probably buy this car. I'm just a few million short. Well, you've got to love an F40. It's one of the Holy Trinity selection of the Ferraris. This is a particularly special one in that it's got a unique livery. Now, all F40s actually come out of the factory in red. Now, I think I've seen a white one. I think there's a black or two out there. This one's in a very dark red, almost maroonish, slight metallic hue to it. Looks absolutely fantastic. Somehow this colour makes it look even more valuable, even more special. And I actually do like the white and blue stripe going across the full length of the car, and it brings out the blue cloth seats inside. Just an absolutely fabulous car. Obviously manual. On start-up, they don't sound massively incredible, but as you go through the revs into the higher echelons of the rev range, it starts to scream and go a bit mad. A bit of a handful. Doesn't that just make it more exciting? A lot of people's favourite Ferrari. I'd probably go for an F50 first over this in that sort of ballpark car. But saying that, this particular combination of colours looks utterly dreamlike. Oh, well, so you're going to see a Jaguar XJ220, a TDF, a LaFerrari, last but not least, a Dalek. Well, look at this for a thing. It's a Dallara Stradale. Now, there's a few things that stand out of this car. Dallara was started back in 1973 by an ex-Lamborghini engineer. And the company's gone on from strength to strength, known for their racing prowess. But this particular car, with its Le Mans type open hatch doors, it looks amazing in the most stunning carbon green, full carbon everywhere. Interestingly, this car is powered by the same engine in the RS Focus, unbelievably, a 4-cylinder 2.4 litre engine. But given the car's lightness, and with Bosch electronics powering it and making the most out of that engine, it's still a performance thoroughbred. Looks absolutely stunning. I particularly like the way that the seats almost become part of the body, curling around it. Gear stick, easy to hand, left-hand drive only, digital race dash, wicked racing steering wheel in Alcantara, right up my street. I mean, the car's about the experience, and this car is about the experience. From the moment you get in, or from the moment you struggle to get in, because there's no actual door, it's just literally a window hatch. So you've got to get in there. I don't think the missus would be appreciative of that fact. But it'd be great content getting my gran in and out of that. Well, you can trust Macari's to have a show-stopping car. They've actually got a few in here. There's an original Testarossa over there, which I think even beats this, personally. But this is a 250 GT California Spyder. At one point, holding the record for most expensive car sold. This one's in black. Looks bloody marvellous. Now, lucky enough, last year I saw a couple of California's different sorts of events like Salon Privé and Concours d'Elegance. And if you go to those events, you'll get to see these sorts of cars. Fabulous, fabulous cars. 109 made of these cars in total. Very, very expensive, very, very sought after. I do believe many of them found their way to America. So let's be fair, they've got a better climate in general. Of course, the car model is famous for having a starring role in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, that fantastic early 80s film of a kind of coming-of-age film when he mucked it up. It's one of those scenes that makes you wince and the car goes flying out the glass showroom. It's his dad's precious pride and joy. Shocking. Well, behind me is a quite incredibly rare, exotic and very highly revered Porsche 917. Very much an inspirational Le Mans model here at Joe Macari's. In the flesh, you just can't believe how low and wide it is. It's got real presence. I mean, you wouldn't want to take it out on the road, but on a track or an historic event, what a head turner. Fabulous car. Well, look at this. This really tugs my heartstrings. An Alfa Romeo 2600 Spyder. For just 150,000, you can get into a car as beautiful and as in mint condition as this. Bearing in mind, this is single figure percentage value less than the equivalent Ferraris of the era. Built in 1964, it's actually older than me by a good few years. 2.6 litre engine, capable of 120 odd mile an hour, which back then was more than enough to stand out. It was the first Alfa Romeo to have four-wheel disc brakes and fitted with a 5-speed gearbox. The main thing about this particular model at Joe Macari's is that it was built in right-hand drive specifically for the UK market and delivered to the UK on the 27th of February 1964. It's the 20th of just 103 right-hand drive cars built by Alfa Romeo. I was just discussing this Ferrari with my son. It's a 365 GTB4, commonly known as the Daytona. It really has a styling of the late 60s, early 70s era. It's got a little bit of American styling to it, a bit of muscle. But we were discussing how the car doesn't look like any other Ferrari. And at the time, I think they were quite mixed reviews, but now I think it really stands out. And I think another car that is fabulously underpriced, I think about £750,000. Okay, that's a lot of money. However, there was not many of these built, and even rarer in Spyder form. The Daytona nickname came about when the factory's cars came 1, 2, 3 in the 1967 Daytona 24-hour race. 4.4 litre V12 engine, producing around 350 horsepower at 7,500 revs, weighing only 1,280 kilograms. It did a 0-60 in about 5.5 seconds, moving on to 174 miles an hour, which again, at that time, is a real achievement. Here we have a Mercedes-Benz CLK LM. So it's akin to the GT1 that Mercedes produced. And what I do like about this car, in fact it's one of my favourite cars ever, is the fact that it looks like a Mercedes. It looks like a Mercedes and they've just kind of squashed it down. I mean, it's just an absolutely, utterly fantastic car. This is actually a road legal variant of what is basically a Le Mans car. I mean, can you imagine driving this on the street? I mean, it'd be terrifying because it's so wide. But my God, I think out of all the cars in this amazing showroom, this car probably stands out the most. This car is a 1998 car of 600 horsepower. It doesn't sound madly powerful against some of the modern Ferraris, for example. However, this car will be a lot lighter, and the way it delivers that speed is purpose-built up in the higher revs for those long track sessions. Now here we have what I think is one of the prettiest open-top cars from the 60s era. It's the 190 SL from Mercedes-Benz. This is actually a 1962 car, fully restored, up for sale for £200,000. I mean, it's absolutely mint condition. In fact, it's probably better now than it was when it came out of the showroom, which is a little bit mad. 62 years old, this car. I hope I look this good when I'm 62. A quick look at this stunning interior. I mean, it's absolutely impeccable. I think I'd be too scared to sit in it, never mind drive it. Isn't it just beautiful? And here's a view from the front. Oh, I mean, oh God, it's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Talk about driving around in style. We have a Porsche 918 Spyder. This is with the roof on. And I don't think I've seen this car with the roof on, fun enough. I've seen a couple of things on the road, only I think two in total. I've seen about 6 or 7 in a garage environment or at an event. But yeah, to see one of the roof on is very rare, and actually it still looks bloody amazing because it's got a double bubble roof. Now this is a car that Jake and I really like. I'd only ever get it in silver, although we did see one in black with kind of green highlights, and it did look amazing. It had the kind of the hybrid green colorations on it. But I love the flair of this car, and probably quite unusually, I much prefer this over a Carrera GT. And the reason of that is that we all know about the issues of driving a Carrera GT. I don't think you can really fully give it the beans, whereas this car, you can definitely get into it and use it to its maximum enjoyment factor. It also, I believe, is a lot better looking, but of course that's very subjective. But a fabulous bit of German engineering. I mean, look at those wheels. There's just every detail about this car is stunning. I especially like the side air duct there, how it integrates in the flow of the body. This car is not like an Aventador SVJ with wings and holes and gaps and plastics, or the latest 992 GT3 RS, which, although stunning and looks incredible, is very complicated to look at. This car flows magnificently. Well, here we have a nigh perfect Ferrari 550 Barchetta. Absolutely stunning in magnificent Rosso red, normal alloy wheels, dark interior with a little bit of Alcantara, not just leather. Now, there's not many front-engined V12 Ferrari Spyders. A bit earlier you would have seen the Daytona Spyder, which is about double this price. Now, coming in at £350,000 with just 3,500 miles on the clock, I mean, wow, it's almost a new Ferrari. At 350,000, it's pretty much the same price as the new Ferrari 812 GTS, which has depreciated somewhat. And which one would you get? For me, it's an incredibly tough decision. You know me, I like a bit of nostalgia. This is going to be really special, a long-term investment relative to the 812 GTS. But the 812 GTS, it's almost new, service pack, warranty, super powerful, better handling, much faster, probably more comfortable, although that might be quite close. And 812 GTS is probably one of Ferrari's best ever made cars. There's no getting away from that. So what an incredibly difficult decision. I mean, one thing I would say is I'd probably get both of them instead of the Daytona. And I do love the Daytona because you've then got one car for your daily and one for special events. Well, that is it, my tour of Macari's fabulous showroom near Wandsworth in London. If you do like this sort of content, and I plan to do more fabulous showrooms around the country, then make sure you subscribe and hit the bell to be notified of my new videos. Some also great car reviews coming back, and also I'm going to get on 2 wheels again with some super bikes. Looking forward to that. Woohoo! Catch you later. Ride safe and drive safe out there. 8 out.